Hey everyone, welcome to Mentoring Monday, a little session on the types of things that I'm seeing in all of my mentoring spaces, my VIP mentoring, my entrepreneur membership, and in the Naturopathic Futures Academy. I've been in practice for 18 years and I've seen all sorts of things come and go, and I've helped thousands of practitioners in their businesses and their mindset and their lives. I wanted to check in with how you guys are feeling mid-April. April is one of those months where we find ourselves in the midst of it all and wondering what on earth is going to happen. And I know that it's been happening in the membership and in my VIP mentoring at the moment that we're getting these experiences of people canceling or rescheduling at the last minute or creeping into our inboxes where we've got all of these other things that we're doing at the moment and they're asking these random questions at stupid o'clock at night and we're thinking that we feel like we should answer them. And I see it across the board. And I see the question of, but what if it's the economic crisis? But what if this lasts forever? But what if the fuel crisis kicks off another COVID situation? Or, but what if I'm doing something wrong and I need to put my prices down or I need to go and find a job? So I'm seeing that everywhere. So I thought I'd address it right now. What I have been reflecting on is this model that is in a book called Good to Great by Jim Collins. And it's a leadership model that is based around an admiral going through a crisis, a war, the Vietnam War. And if you've ever read Viktor Frankl's work, there is a mindset shift that gets you through these crises. And the one that I've been reflecting on recently is the Stockdale Paradox. Admiral Stockdale was talking about two very specific things that helped people get through rather than toxic positivity of, oh no, it's just a mindset issue, change it and everything will be fine, or that toxic optimism that doesn't actually quite get you through. There are two really specific things to think about. One is the brutal facts, and the second one is the sureness of success, making a plan for it. So, what are the brutal facts? What we find in situations like a crisis is that we hear a lot of drama added to things. People start to make up stories around the fact itself. The fact is quite small, but this story and these other things that go around it create a different drama associated with it, and that creates a different response. In actual fact, it creates reactivity rather than responding. And so, what are the brutal facts about what's happening in the middle of April? We have school holidays for starters. Many of us help mums, kids, and their families, and school holidays. Whew, it's not the time to be thinking that everyone's going to absolutely be on time for everything and isn't going to cancel because random things come up during the school holidays. They're also really focused on logistics and probably focused on the actual holidays itself. So unless you're in telehealth, and even then it can get a bit complex with kids around and the different types of things that happen, school holidays generally have a drop off in and of themselves. Then we've got two public holidays, more depending on where you are in the world. And so here in Australia, we've got Anzac Day and we've got the Easter long weekend. These are really short working weeks and changes can come up quite quickly. And it's not just about the households that you help having short work weeks and therefore limited income. It may be yours as well. And so public holidays are always going to be a little bit of a different kettle of fish when it comes to the way in which we can help people and we can make sure that they have the time to fit in their health and their well-being. Next one is we are living in a time of global unrest and war. It is in the news everywhere and it may be impacting your life or your family's life overseas. So this news cycle that's consistently happening and consistently telling us that there is uncertainty is going to be affecting all of our nervous systems and always going to be putting us on edge. We're literally seeing it happen in real time. And so it's always going to be in the back of our minds that there is some uncertainty that's going to happen, and certainly for our clients as well. Then there's the perception of an economic crisis where people are feeling like the fuel crisis, the chocolate that they had to spend money on for for Easter. There is this real sense of impending challenge when it comes to money. And so that's at the forefront of people's minds as well. And lastly, April is a really short month for working. So we've got the first week, which is actually the last week of school, and that can be shifts and changes in time frames. Then we've got the 2 weeks in the middle, which are actually two 4-day weeks. And then we're going back to school. So as it comes about for our clients, it's going to be a really unsettling time anyway. So they're the brutal facts. We've got time pressures, we've got money pressures, and we've got energy pressures for all of our clients and ourselves as well. And we've got to delineate what we are making up in our heads based on our personal experience and what's actually going on for our clients or our potential clients. So that's first half is brutal facts. The next part is sureness of success. The sureness of success is coming up with ideas to meet those brutal facts and then working towards getting through. So what are the brutal facts? And being able to be clear that you're aware of them and you're not pretending that they don't exist, whether it's through your newsletters or social media, is a really great place, especially when it comes to feeling into the nervous systems of your potential clients and making sure that you're saying something about it, not completely ghosting and disappearing. Next one is using this time because the time will change from April to May, especially if you've been in practice for the near 2 decades that I have, and certainly very likely that you have as well. There is a shift that happens between April and May because May is just as we're hitting our stride with winter here in the Southern Hemisphere and everybody gets sick. We've got immune system issues coming up and then we've got all of the colds and flus and the upper respiratory tract stuff starts to kick in May. And the stressful time coming into the end of financial year. So it's a really specific time where we come to the fore. So in April, in this more quiet time, how can we prepare and make sure that this quiet time is actually useful for when the shift starts to happen again? So how can we prepare some of the pre-scheduling? How can we make a webinar or one-off training? How can we do something, an ebook, so that when it does shift, we're ready and prepared for it? Next one is reaching out to your current clients. You don't have to actually offer them a particular thing, but reaching out and making sure they're okay because it is this very uncertain time. They'll remember that when they are flush and ready to go later on in the year. This is a really also an amazing time to be able to offer lower price options for your community, whether it's group consultations, so a pop-up where we get everybody in and you do a little presentation on, I don't know, whatever there is going on for your community. If you're a perimenopause, do a little pop-up, open an office hours per se, and get Q&A for people who might want to ask questions associated with their particular kind of condition. Then we've got acute care consultations, especially in telehealth at the moment. Here in Australia, we're all really quite concerned about the fuel, and we do have some of those things that happened in the COVID era that could be really beneficial now because people are geographically challenged by the fuel situation. So having telehealth consults that are short, sharp, and snappy, maybe for those double digits, so the $45 to $85 mark, rather than triple digits, because that's a thing for a lot of people at the moment. So having an offering that allows them to feel supported, but is in a lower price bracket, will continue to help your people and continue to help you help your people through this kind of challenging time. The last one is making sure that if you are in genuine despair, it's a really great time to write a CV. It's a really great time to reach out and see if there is a job that might be aligned with you. It's also a really great time to be able to call some of those telehealth lines that we've popped in the Naturapreneur Hub before for business support and mental health support. They're all available 24/7 and the vast majority of them are for free. It's also a really great time if you happen to have anything hidden on your computer or hidden on your website, or from a personal perspective, anything that's in your house that you can sell, that's excess that you haven't used in a year that you could sell. If you are in that desperate time, making some small shifts towards bringing in some income gets you out of that survival kind of mode and into a bit more of a space of being able to make really conscious responding to conditions rather than reacting to conditions. All right, so that's what's happening in the mentoring world at the moment, those challenges and a little bit of a tidbit of making sure that you've got a plan to move forward. Now, In the naturopathic world, we've got some news. We've got, if you've checked out the little black book, we have a list of all of the current training available. And so if you do have some spare time on your hands, getting your CPD looked at is a really great option. Interclinical Labs has a toxic burdens webinar. Simple Clinic has a marketing automations webinar, and RN Labs has a gut health from an integrative GP webinar, and they're all in there, and all the links are in there. Upcoming conferences, if you're considering May, June, or July. May's major conference is from the NHAA, and that's the Herbal Conference on the Sunshine Coast. Then we have June is the Biomedical Metabolic Health Summit, which looks really exciting. Amazing lineup of speakers. And in July, ACNAM has their yearly conference, 2 days, and it's on hormonal health. Again, amazing speakers lined up for that. Lastly, two big pieces of news. One is the naturopathic private health insurance is coming back, and it's a really great time to make sure that you have checked with your association, that you're up to date, and you have everything aligned so that you can get your private health insurance provider number when they first come out again. And they should be coming out and rolling out in batches shortly, but definitely check with your association. It's modality specific, so check what your modality is registered at with your association, and check your CPD and your first aid, and all those things are up to speed. Last one, a news article came out in the Top Doctor magazine, which is a US mag, but it has reported that naturopathic medicine has grown to a $37.8 billion global market. Billion with a B. And it's growing at 8.3% annually. So when it comes to brutal facts and sureness of success, we've got to be careful about what we're listening to and the stories that we're hearing. And data doesn't lie. So if this space that we are really ready for in naturopathic medicine and naturopathic healthcare can be looked at from a database perspective, we're in an annual growth of 8.3%, which is huge. There is billions of dollars going around in the work that we do. And we just have to set ourselves up into the flow of those dollars to make sure that we can help as many people as we can and get the biggest impact that we can with the skills that we have, and be rewarded for that from the value that we give. All right, I hope this has been helpful, and make sure you tag someone below or ask any questions below, and I'm looking forward to catching up with you guys next Monday for another Mentoring Monday. Thanks, guys. Bye.